Welcome to NCIX Tech Tips. This is another installment in the lead up to our refresh of the Ultimate NAS guide. Last time we showed you the smart switch we were planning to use. This time we're showing you the RAID card that is going to sit at the heart of the system, eating away at its heart like a little tick. Inside its... No, it's nothing like a tick. This is a RAID card. What are you guys even talking about? Why is this even in the script? Anyway, it's going to manage all of the storage of the NAS, and we have not only this one, but another really cool RAID card from LSI to show you guys today. Alright, so first up, guys, we've got the MegaRAID SAS 9361-8i, which is the first RAID card that I've laid hands on that I'm actually a little bit jelly about. I've got a 9268i in my own system, and this is much faster. So while that name might be a bit of a mouthful, all you need to focus on right here is that 8i, which means there's the capacity for 8 internally connected drives, which can of course be expanded to more if you have an expander. LSI sent the full package to us, which includes mini SAS 8643 out to 4 SAS individual drive cable connectors, and it actually comes with 2 of those so you can plug 8 drives in natively, again, if you don't have an expander. Each SAS lane, and this is where things get exciting, supports 12 gigabit per second data transfers. And LSI is actually the first to market with that solution. Now, obviously, you're not going to get 12 gigabit per second out of like consumer-based hard drives or anything like that. But if you can pony up for enterprise-grade flash drives, you can get pretty darn close to saturating the entire throughput that this card can provide to you. It comes with a PCI Express 8X connector at the bottom, and you can get pretty darn close to using it all up. All right, now the board itself has the SAS connectors horizontally oriented. The passive heatsink cools the dual-core 1.2 gigahertz PowerPC ROC or RAID-on-chip processor, and it has 1 gig of 1866 megahertz DDR3 designed specifically to handle up to 12 gigabit per second of throughput per port. Finally, the connector down here, and I already said this, is a standard PCIe 3.0 8X port, meaning that you get double the bandwidth of a PCIe 2 solution. The controller itself supports a bunch of really neat features, really too many to name here, but the most interesting of which, for us, for the server that we're going to be doing in the next little bit here, is online capacity expansion and online RAID level migration, which actually allows you to change drives, add more drives at will, and even change the RAID level if you want. The other neat thing is Cascade, which leverages connected SSDs in front of the HDD volumes to create a high-performance controller cache pool, which is great. But what if you wanted an integrated solution? So to be clear, guys, an SSD cache pool would use mostly for reads, but would use the SSD whenever possible and then fall back to the hard drives whenever it needs to, and it can handle that dynamically. I've actually played around with Cascade before. Well, if you wanted something more integrated, this, my friends, is the Nytro MegaRAID NMR 8110 4i. In this case, the 4i is indicative of the 4 internal drives that use an FF8087 connector, so that's the older connector. But the interesting thing about this drive is the onboard flash memory designed to keep things going lightning fast. More on that later. Inside the box, there are only 3 things. A short PCI bracket, just in case you're installing it in a half-height chassis, for different, a USB drive with the software, and the card itself. I'm glad to see software being delivered on a USB drive now. That's really cool. See, look at that nice little LSI USB drive there. So let's take a look more closely at the RAID card. It has an 8X PCIe 3.0 connector. Keep in mind that this can be used in a 16X slot, which would normally be reserved for like video cards or even higher end stuff. And then it's also got, the SF8087 connector that I mentioned before. This particular one doesn't come with cables. You'll need to get your own breakout cables to 4 standard SATA or SAS connectors, but don't worry, they're only about 20 bucks, not too bad. This heatsink in the middle provides passive cooling for the chipset and 1 gig of 1333 megahertz DDR3, and then in the back here, in the caboose so to speak, is 200 gigs of onboard enterprise-grade eMLC flash. And actually, MSI makes models of this with anywhere from 100 to 800 gigs of onboard flash-based storage. So what is this flash used for? Essentially, it's like having an SSHD-style RAID, they call it their elastic cache algorithm, that delivers intelligent acceleration for your data. The frequently accessed files are stored right here on the flash memory. LSI calls it automatic hotspot data caching. And actually, LSI wants you to dedicate as much of the flash as you want to pure storage caching, just in case you want some files always available as quickly as possible. They give you that option. Now, Wheels is going to take these and do a bunch of validation of LSI's claims by putting these cards through their paces using different torture tests and RAID configurations. So stay tuned for that, and I might have even seen a stack of 8 SSDs back there somewhere. This should be pretty exciting. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment below and let us know how you'd like to see us torture these RAID cards. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to NCIX Tech Tips for more videos like this from ncix.com.